Welcome to One Big Boat. We're all in this together. A show focused on people and organizations whose work is making a true difference in people's lives. Today, we welcome Julie Mahoney, the Executive Officer and Co-Founder of Welcome Home.
We have many situations. What they all have in common is that the person is setting up some sort of home or living situation for themselves and their families and are under-resourced.
She and fellow co-founder Mindy Peckler are on board to discuss how they help people furnish their new homes with basic household items. That's next on One Big Boat. We're all in this together. Let's start here. How did it start?
My professional background was in hospice and elder care, where I worked for a long time. And when you work in hospice and elder care, most people move and everyone dies. So time after time, I was left with my colleagues in situations where people, adult children or heirs came, took 5 or 7 things from the house, and you were basically left time after time with condos, homes, trailers, all kinds of living environments with lots of usable home goods. Long story short, we actually had an elder abuse situation going on where I was working. I went to the second step, which is a shelter in Newton. I asked for guidance with my hand on the doorknob, leaving the meeting with the social worker. I said, "You were incredibly helpful. If there's ever anything we can do for you, I hope you let us know." And she said, "Actually, we're in the business of moving men and children and women and children into permanent housing. If you ever have housewares that people don't need anymore, I hope you think of us." So I was walking down Newtonville Avenue and I thought, that's it. That's my next thing I'm going to do. And I thought, who do I know who has a really hard head and a really warm heart and might want to do this together? And I called Mindy. And she said,
and I said, "Julie, if it's something you think is important, I think it's important too." And I was out of town at a baseball tournament with my son. We came home and I said, and Julie called me and she said, "Okay, let's get started." And I was like, "Okay, well, what are we going to do?" And she said, "Okay, well, people have left stuff out on their porches for us." So we drove around and picked stuff up. And for the next few weeks, everything was clanging around the back of my car. And my husband said, "Is this how we're going to live?" And I said, "Well, for right now, this is how we're going to live." And one of Julie's neighbors gave us a space in his real estate office. And we brought everything in and we set it up like a store, which was beautiful. And we looked at each other and said, "Okay, we know how to get the stuff. Now we have to find the people who need the stuff." And we were invited to speak at a social work meeting at Jewish Family and Children's Services, and there were maybe 60 or 70 social workers in the room. And we did a little PowerPoint, and people were really wanted to talk to each other. And afterwards, we said, "Are there any questions?" And somebody said, "What kind of forms does my client need?" So we had never done this before. So we looked at each other. We didn't even know that there could be forms. And we said, "Oh, no forms." And all of a sudden, people became very interested in what we had to say. And they said, "Well, are there any fees? Like, do they have to pay for the things?" And at that point, our decisions that we made that day were very unintentional. We were kind of just going with what seemed like the most popular answers. And they said, "Well, do we have to come with our clients or can they make their own appointments?" And we said they can make their own appointments. And we have never had a shortage of clients after that day. But our answers now, and those decisions are now very intentional.
And to the people who don't know, who do you serve?
we serve people anywhere in New England. Really, there's no geographic boundary. Most of our clients are in Eastern Massachusetts, but some do drive down from New Hampshire, Maine, and many come up from the Cape, who have financial need, who are in some situation of needing to set up another home for themselves, perhaps after a fire, perhaps after returning home from prison, perhaps after immigrating to our area, perhaps a college student who comes with scholarship but needs bedding. We have many, many situations. What they all have in common is that the person is setting up some sort of home or living situation for themselves and their families and are under-resourced.
Mhm. And working with Second Step, I believe they deal with domestic violence.
Yes. Yes, and we have many now. We partner now with nonprofits really all over Eastern Massachusetts. From that one relationship grew many.
And so let's talk about your home food pantry, home goods pantry. I went through your website, but it broke it down for me. So what is that model and how does that work?
The model is most of our goods that we share with our clients, the people who we serve, are donated by private people like yourself. You're cleaning out your linen closet. You take out the 10 towels that you really don't find that you're using, and you donate them to us. Those items come in on a drop-off schedule. You can drop them off. Anyone can drop them off at a prearranged day and time. We take all those items. We go through them. We do quality control. They're shelved and folded and so on. And then at a different time, volunteers come in and pack up those items for an individual client.
So it's not just all living in her car anymore?
It is not living in Mindy's car anymore. That's right. We have a lovely
There
space
is some stuff
in
in my
West
car, so
Newton.
don't look.
Yeah.
How did this all grow? I mean, I could see when you were telling me, it probably felt this is a great idea. What do we do? And it just was so daunting. How did this grow? Because I've heard people, even on a call this morning, saying that you guys have it's a well-oiled machine.
Well, I'm glad someone said that.
So when we started, it was just the two of us in a little office, really a little office, with 4 shelves. And then we invited some friends to join us. So then there were 4 of us, then 6 of us. And I think before COVID, there were 8 of us. We are now at almost 140 volunteers. So when a lot of people shut down during COVID, we grew. We couldn't have the personal interaction with our clients so much anymore. They would have to look in through the window and tell us the things that they wanted, but then we would pass it through the window. But we grew at that point. People say, "Oh, do you want to expand like your footprint?" And we have thought about it, but in order to do that, we think we will lose the personal touch. So we love that clients come in and we can meet with them. So we pack up the basics that people ask for, the bedding, the dishes, the things that everybody pretty much asks for. And then that's on half of our location. And then the other half is set up like a home goods store. And we give people a bag and they can come in and shop for the things that they need. And some of the stuff that is considered basics, like curtains, we consider that a choice item. So even though it's not included in the things, the 5 items, let's say that they can pick, things, our clients don't have a lot of choice in their lives, and they're usually just given stuff. So we like them to be able to pick out the things that speak to them.
Yeah. You haven't said the word yet, but it sounds like the whole underlying theme here is dignity.
Dignity. It's dignity all the way through.
Yep.
From the quality of the items that we accept to the way we quality check them, fold them, shelve them, to the way they're packed. We actually have a budget for packing materials because we learned from our social work partners how important it is the way items are packaged and presented to someone. In our earlier days, no garbage bags. In our earlier days, we were using, boxes from Costco with banana stains on them and so on. No more. Packaging is important, and it's very much related to dignity.
Coming up,
we have partnerships with Boston Healthcare for the Homeless, with Grad Bag. They outfit dorm rooms for first-generation college students.
the value of partnerships.
It's a good time for an important shout out to Mark's Moving and Storage. Mark has really moved the dial at Welcome Home. We get a large home goods donation from a local realtor every other week. And Mark has committed, this will be year 3, to going every other Wednesday to pick up those items and bring them to us. And he also donates fresh packing supplies.
And he stores things that we have 2,200 square feet. And we've decided not to grow our footprint at this point. We're growing through partnerships, which we can talk about. But the stuff that we can't hold in our space, Mark will hold in storage for us. And then when we're ready for it, we let him know and he brings a truck. And he is unbelievable.
Yeah. Obviously, the podcast, you could be seen anywhere, but we're here in the Needham area, 20 minutes outside of Boston. And we work with a lot of clients that do similar things with you guys. We just did a podcast with Cradles to Crayons.
Mm-hmm.
We've just had Circle of Hope in.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can't be siloed, obviously.
No.
You have a lot of different partnerships, and it probably could even grow more.
Exactly.
Yes. So we work with Cradles to Crayons. They get things that they don't use, home goods. And when we don't typically take clothing, but sometimes it ends up in the box that we get. So we have actually a volunteer who volunteers with us and Cradles. And she brings the things back and forth each week when she volunteers at each organization. We have partnerships with Boston Healthcare for the Homeless, with Grad Bag. They outfit dorm rooms for first-generation college students. So anytime we get in full-length mirrors or clip fans or the kinds of things that you would need in a dorm room, we set them aside. And when they set up over the summer to get the stuff ready, we give it to them. And then when they're done, anything that's left, they give back to us.
Yeah. And how about the Needham Council? That's another one that just came into mind.
Yeah, Needham Council, we get a lot of donations from.
Mm-hmm.
And Circle of Hope you brought up, we are actually, Senator Jake Auchincloss convened a coalition of nonprofits in his district, and we work closely with Circle of Hope on that.
Have the numbers gone up?
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So especially during COVID, people who were just getting by and were able to afford, a new toaster if they needed one, we think they found that their money had to be spent elsewhere. And so if we could give them a toaster, it was one less thing that they had to buy. Our numbers, we think about 13,000 people last year. And we
aspire to serve more in the year to come.
Yeah,
for sure. That during COVID was when we began to understand that we were a resource extender. Anything that someone could get at Welcome Home at no cost, left money to buy things.
What's the barrier to get in? None.
That's a great question.
Yes. There are zero, for our clients, there are 0 barriers to entry. We don't even know if they're giving us their real name. We don't ask. There are no questions. Nobody has to prove their need. And we talk about this a lot. Like, it's hard to ask for something. And, we do this with an open heart. While we have no barriers to entry for our clients, we have a rigorous onboarding process for our volunteers because we want to make sure that each of our clients is met with an open heart and that nobody's judging. You don't ever know where somebody's coming from. We do a quarterly all volunteer meeting where we do a little bit of business, but then we have a speaker come in, sometimes from one of our partner organizations, sometimes a social worker, and they talk about, the kinds of clients that we have that we share with a lot of other nonprofits. And, one time we had a question about why does everybody want a blender? Because most of our volunteers were like, I don't even use my blender. And blenders rarely come to us. And if they do, they're 25 or 30 years old. And so this social worker said to us, well, there are a couple of reasons blenders are so popular. They're easy to use. Even if you don't speak English, there are usually 6 or 8 buttons. You can make soup, you can make baby food, you can make smoothies. But the number one reason, she said, is that if you have to flee your living situation, it is very easy to take with you.
Someday when we write our book, there's going to be a chapter on blenders.
On blenders?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. We could talk for the next hour about blenders.
Mm-hmm.
One of our clients in the past has been Shark Ninja.
Oh, yes.
Yes, they've been very nice to us.
Yes, very generous.
Yes.
I have a Shark Ninja blender.
So do I.
And so do some of our clients.
Well, good, good. When it comes to corporate partnerships, like a Shark Ninja and stuff, how many do you have? How many want to be known? And how many want to be in the shadows?
It's a great question. That's a great question. One of our partnerships that's very, very important to us is IKEA in Stoughton. And the fact that Mark Silverman of Mark's Moving and Storage is willing to, it's one thing to be donated, items to be donated to our organization, but we have to get them to where we are. So a corporate donation has two parts, the donation and the transportation. So the IKEA Mark's Moving and Storage partnership absolutely changed how we operate because it's extremely generous from both businesses and it's completely reliable. It's every other Wednesday. We can count on it and it sort of sustains us for those 2 weeks. It's very important.
And we also have a relationship with Ocean State Job Lot, and they allow us to purchase pillows at their cost every month. So pillows is not something, nobody wants a used pillow. And, everybody wants a fresh pillow to put their head on at night. And they allow us to purchase new pillows. So when we do a pack and say there's a new item in a pack, it elevates everything else that's gently used. And our clients have said it felt so good to have something new. I don't have that a lot. So our partnerships are really important to us.
That's great.
And we would love more partnerships. If anybody's watching this, we really, sheets, towels, blankets, and the sheets are really an issue because most people donate their twin sheets because maybe their kids are grown and they don't have those beds anymore. But most of our clients sleep in a family bed. So it's usually a queen, and you can only put a queen or a king on a queen. Can't stretch those other ones. So really bigger size sheets.
Bigger size, yeah. For anybody listening on radio, we have a dog in the studio. So if you hear sneezing and stuff like that, that is the emotional support dog for our guests. Who does the fundraising? Because that's like the necessary, I don't want to call it evil, but that's the job that's just hard sometimes, right? I mean, you're working in your business and you got to work on your business.
That's right.
So how does that work for you guys?
So we have a fundraising committee and we do the fundraising. We do 2 fundraisers a year, one in the fall where it's an email solicitation that goes out and we raise most of the money for our annual expenses during that fundraiser. People have been beyond generous. I mean, I've worked for a fundraising consulting for a number of years, and every year I say, it's not normal. We are so lucky that people have been so generous with us. And we also have a Mother's Day fundraiser. Most of our clients are women. And so we thought it would be appropriate. That's more of a fundraiser than a fundraiser. We have a couple of family foundations that are incredibly generous. And we run a very lean operation. We set our heat to the lowest OSHA standard so that we don't spend more than we have to. I mean, we are tight when it comes to.
We do the same thing. It keeps the comedy fresh. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. That's great. How do clients find you?
So we think of 100% of our clients, about 75% are individual people who have found us. And for the most part, we believe that they have found us through word of mouth. They found us primarily through a friend or a neighbor or someone they know who's come to welcome home. About 25% of our clients come through social workers, case managers, school administrators, and those percentages have stayed very consistent throughout the years.
What else do you want people to know about you guys that I have not asked, that I've missed?
We want you, please, to think of us if you're in a situation where maybe someone's passed, maybe you're cleaning that closet you always meant to clean, and you're looking for a place to donate. I think our item donors really like donating to us because they can make an appointment. We come outside, everyone's wearing something that says welcome home. We smile. We are truly grateful. And they know that the items they donate will be in the next home, sometimes later that day, but definitely within the week. And then to reiterate what Mindy said, if you're a business owner, if you have 50 blue blankets that are the wrong color blue, if you have inventory that is just not selling, please think of us.
Yeah, I love those, by the way. It reminds me of Animal House. It was the same font.
Mindy has us.
So when we
branded.
first started, where we were, it was in front of a church, and we would go out to the curb, and then people didn't know if we were like, if they weren't coming to Welcome Home, but they were coming to the jujitsu studio upstairs, we would open their car door to take stuff out, and they'd be like, no,
give you like a black
this is
belt?
not right. So we decided we needed people to know who we were. So we started with t-shirts, and it really makes people feel like they're part of a team. So when you come in for your shift, if you have forgotten your Welcome Home t-shirt or sweater or sweatshirt, we have aprons, and everybody, or hats, and everybody walks in and they feel like they're part of something.
Yeah.
If people are looking to donate and they go to Welcome Home, they come up with maybe different names of Welcome Home. What are they? What's your website?
Yes, welcomehomemass.org. And it's 29 Dunstan Street, West Newton.
Well, I think what you guys are doing is amazing, and I hope more people find out about it. And so thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
One Big Boat is a production of Last Minute Productions Incorporated. This episode was produced by me, Jay Dobeck. Ryan Macheski was a sound engineer. Jim Johnson provided production support, and Joanne Pallotta is the production coordinator.